Hello everyone, this is Alisa Vardomskaya. I am glad to welcome you to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the topic of 12 women's mistakes that lead to male infidelity. Before we start discussing this video, I ask you to click the subscribe button and like this video as it helps the channel grow and the videos get recommended. Now, let's get to our topic. The first women's mistake, which is somewhat veiled, that is, we often think that it will be better this way. That's how women are. They are used to turning a blind eye to something, sometimes silencing issues and sometimes stepping on their own feelings just to keep everything fine. So the first mistake is the fear of losing a man. This is indeed silencing. That is, you see a situation that you don't like. You see that the man, for example, is staying late at work, but you turn a blind eye to it. You see, there are certain moments that you are not satisfied with in the relationship, but you are afraid to discuss them. You don't talk about it. You keep it inside somewhere. Perhaps you are worried, but it's easier for you to pretend that nothing is happening. So when you don't discuss certain problems in the relationship, the problems accumulate and often the union collapses due to the abundance of unresolved issues. So also, the most important thing in a relationship is not to turn a blind eye to obvious things, to articulate and talk. When a woman accumulates a lot of grievances and discontent within herself and puts on a mask that everything is fine, but inside it is not good, she is suffering. The man feels it. He senses that something is happening that is unclear to him. He feels some falseness. On the surface, everything seems fine, but inside the woman, something is not right. So this can be the root cause of a man straying. He seeks and finds a woman whom he perceives as sincere. She can express when she feels bad and show how good she feels when she is happy. She is genuine, while here he senses that falseness. The woman keeps things inside and doesn't communicate. Therefore, the most important thing is, if you recognize yourself here, that you can keep silent, process things inside and feel hurt, do not deceive yourself. If something is wrong in the relationship, speak up. When you speak in a relationship, clearly express your grievances. When you do not accept something, that is, when a man behaves in a certain way and you remain silent, he thinks it's normal, but you feel hurt. So when you speak up, the man understands that this is not acceptable. And your relationship develops and reaches new levels of relationship growth. But when you keep silent and try to do something meaningful a little bit, the next mistake is excessive jealousy. Yes, jealousy in small doses is pleasant for both men and women when, in those moments, each understands that they are loved and valued. But only if it is not excessive. Jealousy. When a man realizes that he cannot breathe freely, his phone is checked, calls are monitored, he is asked when he will be home, what time his lunch is, where he has been, why he was half an hour late, and so on. This suffocation in the relationship, this pressure makes a man fulfill the woman's fears. A woman who is very afraid of cheating pushes a man towards infidelity. That is, she behaves in such a way that the man eventually gets tired of justifying himself for something that never happened. He simply confirms all the women's fears. So if you are excessively jealous, work on yourself. Why are you so insecure? What is happening to you that is not right? Extract the root cause of your excessive jealousy from within yourself. Why? Why does this happen? Perhaps parental scenarios. Maybe you didn't have a father or were not loved enough in childhood. Think about where the roots of your jealousy come from. So the happiest people are those who are self-confident. When a woman is self-confident, when she loves herself, she accepts herself as she is, and she doesn't have moments in her mind where her partner might not love her, that he might go and cheat. And it is on this love for oneself and respect that trusting relationships begin to be built. So a man feels a woman very deeply and reflects her. Where a woman loves herself, takes care of herself, and looks after herself, not for a man, there the man reflects her, takes care of her, loves her, carries her in his arms, and respects her. He has no thoughts of cheating because he reflects the state of the woman who is next to him. And a woman who is excessively jealous and suspicious does not love herself. Her focus is shifted from herself to those around her, to him, to her man's surroundings, and so on. And she does not deal with herself. She deals with everything that happens with him. And of course, such a woman becomes uninteresting to a man over time. Furthermore, there is a lack of intimacy. Well, this is indeed another reason. If a man is missing out on something in the family, possibly significantly lacking what he needs, he will seek it where there is an opportunity. That is, if you have significantly restricted intimate relations, be prepared for the fact that a man's animal instincts will lead him to where all his needs will be satisfied. Next, total control. That is, total control intersects somewhere with excessive jealousy. If you control your man too much and the man has only one desire, to break free. So, who is total control about? It's a parental story. When we are controlled, it's by our parents. Imagine yourself at 16, 17 years old, when your parents did not allow you to go somewhere, to travel, to be at home, for example, forcing you to prepare for exams, for whatever. We wanted to break free, to make some decisions on our own, to go somewhere, while parents dictate that it should be this way or that way, and we want to do it out of spite. It's a similar story here. In relationships where two people develop together, walking as partners through life, there is no total control. The relationship is built on trust, respect, love, and feelings. In such relationships, everything is wonderful. No one wants to break free from each other because everyone has established personal boundaries. Everyone has their own personal space, and everyone has the right to choose. But when you are totally controlled 24 hours a day, naturally, for some it will happen sooner, for others later, such an explosion will occur. The man will rebel. He will not want it. He will not want to, again, like in childhood, to obey his mother. That is, if mom said to be home by 8 o'clock, then at 8 you must be home. And if you didn't come home by 8, then you will be punished. No one absolutely wants to live like that. In relationships, truly no man will want to be that child who is severely punished. Moving on. Only I, ignoring complete disregard for the partner's interests. That is, put yourself first. Your desires are preferred. He must always make concessions to you. His desires are pushed aside. That is, you are the center of the universe, and he is, let's say, in your relationship, a person who agrees to such a relationship. So at some point, such a man may likely come across a woman who will show that it can be different. That is, she will show that the center of the universe can be not only someone else, but he can also be the center, and his desires, preferences, and feelings can be taken into account. So at that moment, the man will feel differently. What is most important for a man? For a man, the most important thing is how he feels next to a woman. If he feels like a champion, a knight, a conqueror next to a woman, he feels that the woman gives him that energy, the energy of movement, the energy of life, and he is ready to conquer, well, everything to achieve any heights. When such a man indeed meets a woman who truly demonstrates to him how it can be distinctly different, he sees that next to such a woman who undoubtedly values him, but does not push him aside, even if he is not in the first place, his interests are considered equally. Then the man certainly understands that he feels absolutely great with this woman. He wants to feel this way. He wants to be in this woman's sphere. And at that moment, of course, infidelities and even the man leaving the family can begin. So the everyday life and constant scandals. Daily life consumes relationships if you do not work on them. That is, if you do not decorate your life with pleasant moments, if you do not create them yourself, do not expect that some magician will appear in your relationship, I don't know, or a wizard, and with just a snap or a wave of a magic wand, everything in your family will suddenly change and become wonderful. If you want something in your relationship, start with yourself. The world changes when we change ourselves. And it's a huge misconception. Women often say, and even, right, why should I? No one owes anything to anyone. But if you need your relationship, if you love your man and want your relationship to be happy, then you need to do something yourself. Don't wait for the moment when the crab whistles on the mountain and the man decides that he needs to give you flowers and arrange a date. If you want a date, organize it yourself. Do something nice for your man, dress up, put on makeup, do your hair, surprise. The man will pick up on this game. He will like it because everyday life consumes not only your mood and feelings about family life, but also the man. He gets tired of monotony, boredom, obligations and responsibilities, and constant scandals add to this. But no one can live on such fuel, on negativity, especially if there is some work related to stress. We all want to return home, to our cozy little nest, where it is warm, calm, where you are loved, understood, and accepted. Naturally, A man wants to restore his strength after a work day. So, where two people live and have not learned to negotiate, have not learned to talk, to explain their feelings through some messages, that is how couples argue, they clarify their relationship by blaming each other, saying you. But if all these accusations are turned into a conversation, the woman says she feels bad about you coming home late. I want us to spend more time together. I feel good and calm with you. I am happy when you are near. I feel very sad when you stay late at work. I want us to cook dinner together, for example. When you express what you want, then the man does not take a defensive stance. He does not start to defend himself against you. That is, when you accuse, you attack, the man starts to defend himself and tells you what he is also unhappy with. So, when you start to build a dialogue and explain and tell your man about your feelings, what you experience at certain moments, then the man understands what you feel through your feelings. This is where the dialogue begins. This is how people effectively solve even complex issues while developing relationships, taking them to a new level. But if you are constantly arguing, it means that you have not learned to simply talk and come to an agreement. Conflicts in relationships are necessary to, let's say, shake things up, as these various complex moments of family life are precisely a way to reach a new level. That is, in the family, everything is good. Then a situation occurs. This situation teaches the couple to resolve it. Situations often become more complex each year when they need to learn to negotiate and compromise. So these moments are initially difficult, but then they incredibly unite. They glue two people together with such glue, meaning that people become one whole. With each such difficult situation, they understand that they love each other more, meaning they become an unbreakable couple. So, if you understand that you have constant scandals, it means you are not solving problems. They are just accumulating. Learn to talk. For each topic, it is not necessary to address them separately. If you have gone through some trial, some difficult time in your life, you have already talked it out and cried, perhaps at that moment it is not necessary to return and drag out all your grievances from the past. Address each problem as it arises, then you will not live in constant scandals. Moving on. You are not growing together. This can also be a reason why a man starts to cheat. That is, the man is moving up the career ladder. He is interested in something. He has certain goals and desires. He is growing. And women, often it is women who fall into such a trap, who do not work. And one cannot work but have some hobbies. If, for example, a man's income allows a woman not to work, to be at home, to take care of the children, everything is certainly wonderful. But this woman should have her own hobby, in which she should develop a hobby where she grows and achieves something. If a woman simply gives up on herself, then that's it. She stays at home taking care of the children. She is not moving forward. She is not developing at all. She standing still. The man is growing, and at some point he realizes that the woman next to him is empty, uninteresting. There's nothing to talk about with her. He starts to get irritated when coming home, even though it seems cozy, tasty, clean, with the children having prepared their lessons. He gets irritated because he begins to perceive his woman not as an inspiration, not as a filled vessel, but as an empty person. A man certainly needs to admire his woman, just as a woman undoubtedly needs to admire her man. When you give up on your life, on your development, on your aspirations, the man will also give up on you. You will simply become uninteresting to him. Therefore, if there is such an opportunity not to work, every person has their own interests. You like sports, for example, or makeup, or anything else. Go into your field, do something for pleasure. Often when a person starts doing something for pleasure, it begins to bring in a decent income over time. And for a woman, it is very important, not just to be independent, but to feel independent. In other words, it is important to fully comprehend that you are capable of meeting your own personal needs. Next, silencing, maintaining the illusion of perfection. That is, when you are ready to silence any situations, just to make everything seem fine. Everything is good with us, okay? And I will digest this and that, and I will close my eyes to this and that. At some point, again, the relationship does not develop. The man understands that he can behave however he wants. For example, he comes smelling of another woman's perfume with stains on his shirt, and he arrives at 2-3 a.m., or perhaps he doesn't come at all, or perhaps when he comes home, if he didn't stay overnight, the woman doesn't even ask. That is, there are such situations. He understands that everything is generally fine. If everyone is satisfied, then we will continue further. This means that he can behave this way with you, and the man checks what else he can get away with this woman. So there is no need to build illusions. You must always voice the moments that do not satisfy you. If something hurts you, if you feel bad about a situation, do not blame. Speak through messages. The man stayed out late. Possibly he was working and was not with his mistress, but do not blame him for being at work so late. Tell him that you want to see him more, spend more time with him, that you miss him, that you love him. When you sincerely and truly talk about your feelings and what makes you feel really bad, then the man hears you. Moving on. But if the relationship has run its course, of course, if the couple lives on and the relationship has exhausted itself and neither takes that decisive step to leave, then infidelities and a bunch of other complicated situations may arise to finally break off the relationship, meaning someone needs to put a definitive end to it. Moving on. You are a strong woman, too strong of a woman. Being too strong of a woman is very bad, difficult. And often, too strong women are unhappy. One loves, let's say, dictators. And if you realize that you are a dictator in the relationship, and as you say, it must be, and you are very strong, you do not seek help from your man, you do not rely on him, you solve everything yourself, the man in such a relationship understands that he is unnecessary here. He is not needed. When a woman starts to prove that she can manage without a man, showing him how strong she is, he only reinforces the thought that the relationship is not about feelings, not about love, that he is not needed here, that he does not make his woman happy. And he goes to look for someone who will make her happy next. A woman does not take care of herself. Well, this is another mistake of women who get married and think that now everything is settled. He is, let's say, hooked, and now they can relax. And they start. She used to go on dates, all beautiful, well-groomed, with styled hair, all made up, a real beauty, slim, cheerful, laughing, joking. And then she completely relaxed. She stopped taking care of herself. Some discontent began to appear, and the man realizes that the marriage was completely different then. Here she does not take care of herself. He sees it and looks at her, remembering that she used to be beautiful, but now he does not see her beauty because at home she is in some baggy pants and possibly not in a very fresh t-shirt, with no makeup on her face and just some messy hair or something else. And he realizes that this woman does not inspire him. He sees her every day, and he no longer feels those emotions. He stopped watching her with his eyes. That is, there are no longer those moments when he cannot take his eyes off her. And now he starts to follow other beautiful women with his eyes on the street. Then it happens that he meets another beautiful woman whom he wants to admire. And the infidelities begin. And the last reason for men's infidelities, well, here it is more about infidelities and a man's departure from the family, is something a man never forgives. The infidelity and betrayal of a woman. If a woman has cheated, a man may still try to forgive her, trying because he possibly loves her deeply. Nothing will come of it. Most likely a man will immediately start trying to take revenge, to cheat, but realizing that the pain from his woman's infidelity, from such betrayal, doesn't go away. At some point, the man decides to break up. That's all for this video. I was Alice Vardomska. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Write in the comments what you would like to discuss in my new videos. Don't forget to hit the bell, and goodbye everyone.